for lack of a better word, hella shit. It's okay. For me, my day consists of this. I wake up, I come into work. The first thing I always do is check my emails, and I don't respond to all my emails. Simply for the matter that we're all part of this whole chain where we get emails that aren't even relevant to what we're doing. But you know, of course you scan it for the ones that are relevant, like student questions, student urgency, and everything like that. When I'm done with that, I actually do a check-in with my department chair, and sometimes he's not in because he gets to work from home, or he's teaching a class or anything like that. You know, so but he already sets a goal for me at the beginning of every quarter, and a lot of the day consists of, you know, educating my peer advisors to educate the students that they see, while also working on our backup systems and figuring out the scheduling of our courses, finding out from all the faculty what courses they plan to teach for quarters on end, and then also, yeah, that's budget lost shit. So, in addition to that, you know, it's also making sure that I do continuous check-ins on all the students within the major. And what that entails is making sure that they're meeting any particular requirements for their degree that they haven't met yet, making suggestions that they should take, indicating what workshops we have available, and letting them know what internships are coming up and everything of that nature. Aside from that, I also work, I'm 100% within my department, but I have the leisure of working with the student affairs portion of it all. Last year, my role was 50% for student affairs, 50% for Asian American studies. This year, it's 100% Asian American studies. So, but my department chair and my staff supervisor has given me the opportunity to collaborate with organizations like SAFE if I wanted to do anything on the side, well, as long as it doesn't hinder my work. And that's something that we continue to do together, sharing community events, and just a lot of it is just wrapped around the community, sharing events, publicizing our event information, working with the students from that particular department. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the reason that the students come see me is actually because of SAFE. You know, I appreciate the collaboration that we do so much together that I really think that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have students coming to see me with questions that they have you know, on end to figure out what their major is. They even come see me for majors that they're not even a part of my own department. You know, so here and there I'll get a biology major or a chem major or something like that, just looking for that particular advice. And a lot of my day does end up being talking to the students, simply because I think it's easier for students when they do come see me. It's easier for them to talk with somebody they identify with, as opposed to coming into an office and seeing like the old white man and policy. You know, when they can relate to you on that kind of level, or when students relate to me on the level that, you know, hey, I can identify with you. You're Asian, you're Pacific Islander, you know, you've probably been through this when you were growing up, and you know, of course I have. So it's easier to talk to me, and then finding out how the system works within the college complex, and explaining to students how to get past it or how to navigate through it, or helping them find ways to kind of get over that hump that might be holding them back. So that's the majority of a lot of my day.
Yeah, a lot of what Joe does is like in academic affairs, and then also the partnership with student affairs is really important to the work that he does. So student affairs is super broad, as you said. There's a lot of different ways to be in student affairs. So it could be in housing. So there's residence halls, the resident advisors, the professional staff in the residence halls. That's all student affairs. First year experience stuff. So those first year Aggie connections that are coming up, right? All of that. Even things like Student Academic Success Center, EOP, the Educational Opportunity Program, Guardian Scholars Program. There's a really broad portfolio of student affairs. The area that I really am interested in and will probably stay in for like the rest of my life or most of my life is multicultural affairs, cultural centers work, diversity affairs work. There's also like student organization and student leadership, such as Center for Student Involvement. So a lot of like your student organization experience can be relevant to that area. When I was in my grad program, I had the opportunity to do an assistantship with the cultural centers at USF, and that was dope because I got to supervise a lot of the programming that my students were doing, do my own programming around identities, whether it was cultural identity, class, ability, religion, a lot of different things. So I got to program around all of those things, and I got a lot more touch with the students at USF. It's also a completely different institution type, right? So USF is probably a quarter of the size of Davis. With the undergraduate population, it's only 5,000 compared to 30,000, which was awesome. So I got to meet a lot more students and talk to students a lot more and get to know them and what they're experiencing on campus. My role here in the SRC is working with the students who do the work. So it's a lot of coaching, developing, guiding, supporting, kind of supervising the work that they're doing, but not doing it for them, and not really doing it. Oh, like sometimes I go to their programs and things like that, but like it's primarily like coaching them through that whole process, giving them feedback, bouncing ideas off of each other when they have a program idea, really sharing with them some best practices on how it's been done in the past, what could work, what couldn't work. It also plays into a lot of like my strengths and being very strategic and seeing a lot of different ways that a situation can play out. So I'll usually share with them, because of the SRC structure, we have a governing board. So when they have a program proposal, it goes to that governing board. So I coach them through like what that governing board could possibly say, what questions they can anticipate, how they can respond to those questions, how they can best set up their proposal so that it makes sense, so that they're achieving their learning outcomes and things like that. And then a lot of what I do is also a lot of personal support. People come into my office crying a lot. I don't know why that is, but it happens. I'm not great with criers, but here's a tissue box. And just give it, allowing them to have that space to talk and share what they're experiencing is a lot of my role, is a lot of that personal social support and just kind of mentoring, guiding. Then the other part of it is like a lot of the community work. So you all know that I am Phil-Am alumni, so I do make myself available to you all and to the Phil-Am presidents. Whether they actually ask me for support or guidance is up to you all, it's up to them. So, but I make myself available. That's that doesn't answer the question.
It kind of does.
Kind of?
Yeah.
So your day-to-day.
It answers my role, or like the general scope of my role, but my day looks different every day.
It is.
It's so hard.
I think the best way to say it is people in our position, we have things that we work on within the office aspect of it ourselves when we're sitting at our desk and stuff. We have our own thing that we have to focus on, whether it be creating flyers, sharing events, counseling students. But in addition to that, because the University of California, we work with so many other partner units that we're pulled in so many different directions all day long.
Yeah.
So one faculty member could come to me and say, Joe, I need you here right now. It's an emergency. These students don't understand what's going on, and I need you as the liaison to tell them the information that they need to know in terms of lower division requirements, substitution, things of that. Same with Chrissy. She's pulled in all different directions because she's tied in with a lot of the student organizations on campus, and they would want her advice on a lot of different things too. So it's kind of we kind of be our own boss in the way that we have bosses, but they trust us enough that if we're not sitting at our desk, they know that we're out there serving the community.
I spend a lot of my day talking to SRC staff. Just because they're out there and I like to talk to them and building community with them. It's a lot of building trust with the people that you work with, right? So a lot of that, I think, me and Joe started around the same time.
Yeah.
And a lot of our first few months probably was just meeting other people.
Yeah, I'd say probably the first 6 months was like that. Just
Yeah,
meeting everybody.
meeting people, talking to them, understanding their role, then trying to understand our own roles. Yeah, I do a lot of emails. This semester, woo, quarter. This quarter.
That word is taboo here.
Yeah.
No semester there.
This quarter, I have been working a lot more late nights and doing a lot more emails from home than I would like to. I don't know if it's just because we're starting the new year again. I don't know. Hopefully in a couple weeks I can have my boundaries again. Yeah. What do your days look like?
I mean, they're not really that much different in a lot of ways. I mean, a lot of it is kind of email because a lot of communication back and forth. You're working kind of, for yourself. I'm doing my dissertation, doing the research and stuff on that, but I'm also working as a TA. So I'm interfacing with the professor I'm working for and grading stuff, and you have to communicate that way. But I think a lot of the similarities are between what I do and what they kind of do is that the days are always kind of different, even if you do kind of have a schedule of like there's a meeting, every Monday that happens at 9 o'clock, like your schedules vary. So it is kind of dynamic, and you're not just kind of doing the same thing every day, which is kind of exciting and helps kind of get you over the fact that you have to be at a job, earning money and whatnot. So like that's nice to have kind of that kind of dynamic environment and stuff. So, a lot of things like research itself is kind of, in a lot of ways, kind of an independent type of affair, but what they do, especially like if you were planning or like looking for a job where you're just kind of in an office by yourself, like that's not really kind of what goes on. It's like you have kind of your hand in a lot of different ways, and you're meeting a lot of different people and interacting, right? So it's very, I think our end goals are very different, but in terms of how the day is structured, it's fairly similar. Although I do say I don't have to be on campus most days, so I'm only here maybe Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and that's just the benefit of being an academic where I don't have to be on campus. I'm one of those faculty members in the future where like I don't need to be here and stuff. So like that's the main difference is I do set aside from the time I have to do like TA and stuff, I just set my own hours. Like maybe after I leave here I'll go do work if I want to, right? And stuff. So there's a lot more freedom, but it's also kind of a lot more pressure on yourself to kind of manage yourself and make sure that you do your work. It's a lot more decentralized.
I teach Monday through Friday. I don't ever really stop teaching. So yeah, I think about it before I get to school. After school, I'm doing it. We have meetings all the time. As a second-year teacher, I took on a lot of stuff, which is abnormal for a new teacher. So I'm a union rep. I also am a Common Core coach. I also am a peer coach for technology integration for my school. That's very unusual for a first-year teacher. I keep myself relevant and my pedagogy relevant by attending conferences and workshops on the weekends. So I attended like Teachers for Social Justice earlier this month. I attended a math workshop last week and also a tech conference. That's the kind of stuff that I like to do because it's my passion. After school, I pull kids in and I develop relationships with them. They're on my social media. Like I have a school classroom Instagram account. Like I connect with them on a deep level. Like I want to be that teacher. So I put my heart into it, and it takes all of my energy, and I'm willing to give it.